Hello and welcome to another video of Factorio. I am Deozaan. So I had started recording a video and got, I don't know, about half an hour into it before I realized that I had my microphone muted. So there are quite a number of things that I did since the last recording before I realized what was going on and decided to start a new recording. So I'll try to explain those things that I did. I doubled the red chip production, or at least the number of assembling machines that can make red chips, but we've obviously got a problem with the green chips making it all the way to the end, so we're not actually producing as much as we could. I also increased the green chip production. I think I doubled that as well. And noticed we have a problem getting the iron, all the way to the end. So in an effort to increase the iron production, I replaced the furnaces with steel furnaces instead of these stone furnaces. And that makes them so that they smelt the ore twice as fast. But now you can see we don't have enough ore making the way in, and so I began and actually finished making tapping another ore field of the iron. I just haven't gotten it hooked up to the base yet, but here are all of the miners hooked up, and so I just need to connect them to the base, and then we should be able to really increase the production. So that's what I'm working on now. I also made these the layout of these miners a lot more compact than I had them before. So if you look up here, you can see there's a space on the back side of each of them where I have the power lines and the lights. And of course there's a space in the front for the conveyor belts and the ore to go. And so they're kind of spaced, they're right next to each other on the sides, but front and back there's a space on each side. Whereas with these ones, I left only the space in the front and used some underground belts every so often to fit the power lines and the lights. So these are a lot more compact, which means they'll be producing a lot more iron ore much more quickly. And I guess I didn't actually finish this, I just blueprinted it fully. So my bots are placing the remaining miners down. And that's another thing, is I built some modular armor which allows you to equip some things. So I equipped a personal roboport, which is why I have robots working for me. And I also equipped 2 batteries and some solar panels because the roboport needs power. And the solar panels can provide some power, not much. Each one provides 10 kilowatts. The roboport needs 2 megawatts, I'm not sure, 3.5 megawatts. And so these are very slowly putting electricity into the roboport. But if by chance it does fill up with electricity and I'm able to produce some extra power, then that will charge up my batteries, which are useful for supplying power when it's nighttime, because as you know, solar panels only provide power when the sun's out. So that means I would have no power at nighttime. Okay, so let's get these miners hooked up. Looks like I have 1 miner left that hasn't gotten placed yet, but I'm all out. So I will tell the bots to bring me some miners when I get back within range. Another thing to explain is my personal roboport. So this green square that follows me around, that's the area with which the robots can build or deconstruct things around me. And if you recall, with roboports, this red area over here is part of the logistics network, which means the logistics robots can transport items, pick them up in chests or put them in chests, but in the green area, the logistics robots can't do that. So what that means for me and my personal roboport is, since there's no red area, that means I don't have a personal logistics roboport. I just have a construction roboport. So I keep some construction robots in my inventory, but there's no need for me to keep logistics robots because they won't do anything because I don't have a logistics personal logistics roboport. And as far as I'm aware, there's no way to get one in the game, so there's that. So I think I'm going to research some night vision goggles so that I can see better in the dark when I'm away from lights. Let's see, I want to go around this because I actually want to get this uranium later for nuclear power. So let's see if I can. Looks like I'll be able to go just underneath it. Alright, night vision goggles. Now I can see, but it probably won't last long because I don't have much power stored up. But we'll see. Or we won't, as the case may be when it's dark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's use a 6 to 4 balancer. Or maybe I could, no, I'll just run the, don't need to run 6 lines all the way up. We'll balance it here, and that will let me go up to the top with just 4 lines. Okay, let's see if I can figure this out. Looks like that goes up, up, over, up. Looks like that goes up, that goes up, that goes up, that goes over, over, down, over. And it looks like this circles around here. And that's that. Let's see if that looks anything like it should. And it seems correct to me. Good. Alright, let's run these lines up here. Get some research going too. Let's get the bots moving a little faster. That should be helpful. I need to figure out how I want to merge these lines here. Well, this is providing so little. I could probably cut that down to a single line. Maybe 2 lines, but we'll see. I think I'll add another balancer here. Oops. Alright, I actually want these to be red. And one here. Upgrade those. Okay. Alright. Oh yeah, I need to connect these two. Okay. This should help this empty out again. Just finishing up upgrading these belts. Okay. And this is still backed up. So, let's see what happens when I provide less of an input. And more of an output. Oh yeah, another thing that I did, no, I think I did this in the last video that I actually recorded, was adding more iron going to the steel. Pretty sure I did that in the last video. That actually worked. Okay, I will just run down and add this last miner. Or 2 or 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like. Okay, so that should be all good, doing its thing. I think I'm going to add some, I guess they're called priority belts. Basically, I want this ore field up here to be used up before the one down below. So I'm going to make these lines coming from here be prioritized so that the ore from these lines gets used up before these. And that's going to be a little bit messy, so I'm just going to clear some space. Especially if I want to do 4 lanes of it. But I may just do 3. Okay. I need to... It might actually be easier if I have these come out the other way. Just to give me more of some space back here to work with it instead of trying to cram all the work in here. So let's do that. Let's reverse these belts. And we'll have the bots clean up all this stuff. To keep bringing me more belts, because I'm going to need more. Alright. So this one can come down here. This one can come down here. And I'm out of belts. Where did all the belts go? Hey, thanks for some belts. And I don't need all of these anymore. Oh, I guess I told them to bring me a bunch. Yeah, 200 should be fine. And while I'm running back this way, I guess I'll toss the ore in this furnaces. And the coal. Okay. So, let's get these belts organized. Sure, I'll have this one come all the way back here. It's a little wasteful, but I could use the space. Okay, that one's coming like that. And I'll have start with this one, I guess. It will come up. Split it off, send half of it underneath, and have it come back and meet up with the main belt. So the way this works is any ore or any item on a belt that's coming onto the sides of a belt that passes through it, anything, for instance, on this one, can't be put onto this belt if there's already something filling up this bottom side of it. So that will give priority to this line. To anything that's on this one, it will go through first before anything from this belt will get onto this line. And similarly with this opposite side. This particular line doesn't have anything coming on the opposite side, so half of this belt will always be going onto this line. But the other half will give priority to here. With these ones that are going to be pretty full on both sides, or at least not completely empty on both sides, whenever there's a gap, then it will come from these other ones, but again, it will give priority to these upper belts. So I think I'll do the same kind of a thing here, except go around the opposite side. And actually, I could save some space. If I do it like this, then I don't have to space these so far apart. Yeah, actually I'm going to move this one up one now. Do that, put that there. Might as well stretch it out as far as it will go. This one can go up. Put the splitter there. Send this one over there and have that one go around. And then I can do the same kind of a thing here. That one go, actually that needs to go over one more. Because this needs to have that. Okay, oh yeah, and I can move this one up higher. So if I move this over, I can do it like that. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And then this one, I'm going to move down one more just because, excuse me, this is getting pretty wide, and it's going to be easier to cross all those lanes if this is lower. So I guess I saved all that extra space for nothing. Okay, now I can hook this up to this balancer. Oops. And again, this will give priority to, as you can see, this line's moving, these lines are not until there's a gap. And when there's a gap, then these lines pour in on the belt, so we have full throughput, but the priority is given to the ore coming from this section. That way this can get used up first. Looks like that one ran out of coal. Okay, so now our iron production is basically at maximum capacity as far as production goes. The only thing that could speed it up a little, not really the production, but getting it out onto the bus, would be to upgrade these belts. But it's not backing up at all, which means we're obviously these belts aren't full, so we could stand to have more iron production. And in fact, I think we need to increase the iron flowing, the speed of the iron flowing to the assemblies. So that means basically upgrading the bus to red belts. It looks like we are actually starting to, I guess maybe it was just backed up because, well, it looks like it's starting to back up. That's good. But maybe now that I'm increasing the speed, it will get to where it's going to be used faster. Splitter. Okay, it looks like pretty much everything up until these first green circuits, as far as the iron goes, is upgraded. And that seems pretty good to me. Yeah, we're getting a lot of green circuits, which means these things can't even always drop off the green circuits. So let's fix that by upgrading the speed of this belt. And get it over to the red circuits a lot sooner. As well do all of it, I suppose. Okay, no more holdups. I need more underground belts. Alright, so now we have enough green circuits flowing. Nothing's holding that back up. So it looks like red is now, the red chips are now being produced as fast as currently possible, which is still pretty slow, but still it's getting backed up in some places, but obviously it's not, it's obviously not coming in super fast. So I either need to make more red chip production, or maybe at the least I should speed up the belt so it can get to where it needs to be faster. This is very squiggly. Definitely have a spaghetti factory here. The conveyor belts are like spaghetti noodles, just twisting around everywhere. Okay, so I don't know if that was really necessary, but in fact it probably wasn't, because the belts weren't full, or that belt wasn't full. But yeah, could really use more red chip production. So maybe I will increase them once again. Get the trees out of the way. Make this blueprint a little more useful, easy to tell what it is. I'm starting to rethink my roboport expansion blueprint. There's a lot of things I don't like about it. Such as the fact that it puts big electric poles on every side of the roboport, which takes up a lot of space and gets in the way a lot of the time. Let's see, I need 13 glue assemblies. I have so much copper. Okay. Oh wait, down here. Alright, so now we're doing even more red chip production. And I realize maybe part of the reason why our production is going so slow is because we're having some power problems. So let's get some of these guys made to increase the power. Might as well make some more. Seems I forgot the inserters on this this part of the blueprint. Or maybe I didn't use a blueprint when I did that. Okay, now how are we doing on power? Not a whole lot better, but at least we're back in the green. We're producing as much as we need. And we're capable of producing more, so that's good. Looks like green circuits are really eating a lot of copper. It also looks like it's not being balanced very well. Move that here. There we go. Okay, what's next? I think let the workers pick up a little more, and then I think it's time to start focusing on nuclear power. Because, like I said, we're not fully in the green after all. So I could start making some solar panels, or, yeah, producing. We have enough of these. I think it might be beneficial to lay down a big array of solar panels and accumulators. Where do I want to do that? I could do it like in this general area, I suppose. Of course, it's dark and I can't see anything. So the reason why I'm doing this instead of solar panels is because when I do solar panels, I generally put them so that they line up with the roboport grid. How I like to have the roboports spaced exactly apart so that they form a perfect grid. I include a roboport with the solar panels, and that way they extend the grid and provide power. So let's see here. Take this one. Alright, so that should be perfect. And the other nice thing about it is the robots can build it if it's in this roboport network. So right now it's only a quarter of it is in the roboport network. Now half of it. But once this roboport gets built, then all of it will be within the roboport network. Do I have substations being built? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I do. Okay, so that should help out with power once they finish getting built. This one's not very full. Why aren't these producing very much? Oh, because there's not enough power. Okay, so once those solar panels get placed, that should really help. The problem is all the bots are working, and the bots take a lot of power. So they're actually, right now, they're actually using more power building the solar panels than the power that's being made by the solar panels. But once they settle down, that won't be an issue anymore. Looks like plastic is suffering, but I don't know if that's just because of the power, or if we're running out of oil, or what. But see what happens when we get some power back. I want to add some more robots to the network though. And I probably shouldn't auto-trash these guys if I want to add them to the network. Let's get these trees out of the way. It is so nice having bots to get rid of the trees. So nice. So yeah, my roboport expansion design in the perfect grid. I like having them in the grid still, but I've been thinking about it and I'm not sure it's a good idea to have storage chests included with everyone, because then the robots seem to store things as far away as possible from anywhere relevant. So if I were to expand the grid to like take up all of this space, then for some reason they're just dumb, and they would, if they deconstruct something and they need to find a place to put it, they would probably put it in as far away of a corner as possible, and then whenever I want to request it, they have to fly all the way out there, grab it, and then fly all the way back to where I am or wherever the chest is that's requesting it, and it's just stupid. So this isn't actually a great idea after all, and I will I don't know, I'll probably eventually change it, but at the moment I'm kind of too lazy to. So it's not going to happen right away, but in the future I may move away from that kind of a design. Okay, so now all of a sudden the robots stopped. Actually, the accumulators stopped, they got fully charged. And you can see this yellow line here is the accumulators draining the power so that they could get charged up. And now they're full, so they're not taking any more power. And the power that I was producing dropped by a whole bunch because I don't need to produce that much anymore. And here's the power that's being produced by the solar panels. It's turning into night, so we're producing less and less of it as we go, as the daylight fades. And then if we need more power than we have, then this green bar, which is the accumulator power, will go up to compensate, and we'll start seeing this battery being drained here. But it looks like our max capacity, our max production for these solar panels. I need a satellite down here so I can see. But it looks like the max production of our solar panels is maybe 25%, maybe a little more, of what we need. So I may need to build a few more of those grids of solar panels. But in the meantime, I am just adding a satellite so that I can look at this when I'm far away using the map view. And I can also do things like this. Let's tell them to build another solar panel array. In fact, let's do four of them total. I don't think I have enough solar panels and accumulators made for that yet, but they'll work on it as we produce more. Let's see, another thing to prepare for nuclear power, which is something that I want to get started on relatively soon, is I need to make concrete, and concrete needs iron ore, water, and stone bricks. So we've got iron ore here, bricks here, and water here. So I could set something up right here, kind of divert this line to the concrete. Let's try that. Concrete. Does this have water? Usually there's a symbol there. Doesn't look like it has water. Why not? Let's see. Are these boilers using up all the water? Yeah. Or are they unpowered? No. Looks like I'm not producing enough water for all of these boilers. So I need another offshore pump. I'll line it up with this. And that should help. Yeah, because this one should provide enough water for all of this side. That one should provide enough water for all of this side. And probably 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So, still not enough water? Well, I didn't connect these. That would be a problem. I feel like I must have copied and pasted that down there. Interesting. Well, either way, got it taken care of now. Looks like that one's got all the coal. Put a splitter here. And I also need bricks. I think this needs, it only needs 5 bricks and it takes 10 seconds, so it can use the slow inserters. But that's why I wanted to get a start on this, is because it takes so long to make concrete, and we need like 1,000 for 1,000, only 500 for the nuclear reactor, but 100 for each centrifuge to process the uranium. And yeah, I'll probably want to have a couple nuclear reactors and several of those, so I need lots and lots of concrete. Okay, that's probably, looks like we could use some more steel production, copper production, mostly because of these circuits. It looks like it's backed up everywhere except here, and even then it seems to have enough, but I don't know. These used to be backed up and now they're not, so I think it's slowly eating away slightly more than is being produced. And why isn't this connected? So I think that maybe just connecting that will help. In fact, I think might be a good idea to add the balancer here before it all gets split off. That way that way all four of these lines can be help feeding into this. Yeah. And that should help as well, I think. I hope. And I can also have this line refill. That's why I put these here, actually. It's because if this gets really busy, then it will be using up so much copper that I need more than one line. And then once it starts using so much copper, it'll be using this iron a lot faster. So I'll actually have a line of iron that I can come to restock this every so often. But for the moment, that is not necessary. Looks like our green chips are backed up all the way. So power is no longer an issue, but plastic is still an issue. So let's go check that out real quick. I think it's about time to wrap up this video, but I'm going to look at that real quick. Oh yeah, I think I can't remember if I mentioned this, but I increased the research to 10 labs. Can't remember if I did that in the video that I discarded because I had the microphone muted, or if I did that before. I think I may have done that before in the video that I actually kept, but yeah, it looks like we're not producing enough petroleum. We have enough crude oil, so the crude oil coming in is enough, but it looks like we're using the oil, mostly the petroleum, faster than we're producing it. So it may be time for another refinery or two. I don't have any steel with me. Why didn't the robots bring me steel? I must not be putting it into a chest. Or maybe the chest I'm putting it into isn't in the network. Let's check. Do I see any steel chests? I do not. So that should help. Okay, I want 2 refineries should be fine, I think. I also can't remember if it was in the video that I discarded or if it was in the one that I kept. When I put the modules, I think I explained the modules when my microphone was muted, so I'll see if I can do that and build these things at the same time. So modules give certain effects to whatever they're put in. So there are 3 different kinds of modules. There are speed modules, there are productivity modules, and there are efficiency modules. And they all have pros and cons. The efficiency modules are these green ones, and they make things use less power, less electricity. And so they're pretty good about this stage in the game when, or at least before I built those solar panels, when you start running out of your steam engine power and you're just kind of hurting for some electricity because all of the stuff that you're building. But I find that later on they don't matter as much, especially when you get nuclear power, because you're just producing so much electricity, and if you don't use it, it just kind of goes to waste. But anyway, so if you look at this on the right, this oil refinery is using 420 kilowatts of power. And now that I put those 3 efficiency modules in here, it uses 80% less electricity, or only 20%. So that's now 83.9 kilowatts, which is less than one of the electric miners. So it's a pretty small amount. And so it's really useful early on when you're kind of hurting for electricity. But later on, the speed modules and the productivity modules become super important. Because the speed module will increase the speed of production, but it also increases how much electricity it uses. So you can see speed plus 20%, energy consumption plus 50%. And then the production modules, they increase the production only by 4%, and then they increase the energy consumption by a lot, and they also reduce the speed. So they kind of have their trade-offs, but eventually you start using a lot of speed modules and productivity modules, and not really a lot of efficiency modules, in my experience. Looks like we could use more coal here too. Maybe that's because this isn't connected. So anyway, early on, when you don't have very many modules, since it's a percentage thing, it's best with these efficiency modules to put them in whatever uses the most electricity, because if you can get it down to 20% of whatever high value that is, then that does the most good, as opposed to just throwing them in, say, an electric miner, which normally only uses 90 kilowatts. Taking this from over 400 to less than 100 is a pretty significant change. So how are we doing? I don't really see much of a difference here. I guess it has been going up a little, but the production here is still a little low, so I'll try to align my bots so that they only build these 2. And then I'll just kind of eyeball it and see how it goes. But I think it's time to wrap up this video. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're liking these longer videos. I've decided to try to get them close to about an hour instead of, before I was trying for 20 minutes, but I was usually going 30 or occasionally closer to 40. So I just decided, 20 minutes isn't really long enough to accomplish much in this game. So I figured I'd try for an hour approximately and see how that went. So thanks again for watching. Hope to see you next time. Guess that's it. bye-bye for now.